on top. There it is again.
Yo.
Letter K. And it turns out that's what this economy we're in
Hello,
is
ladies
called.
and gentlemen. You can see right there. Hello. It's my boy Rambo. He's sleeping. We'll be a little quiet.
Economist named Peter Atwater first used it a few years ago to refer to pandemic lockdowns that caused the
Shout
fortunes
out to the
of one
homie
group of people
Max,
to go
bro.
up.
This guy dropped some wisdom. Let me just.
And this is different from just your classic.
I'm not gonna pause. I'm just gonna pause the video instead of lowering it. So let's get into another weekly markup. I actually finished the weekly markup yesterday, but I like to post them on Sunday and the market has not even opened yet. But let's get into it, right? First and foremost, good morning, good night, good evening, whatever time you're watching this. Let's get back into it. NZDCAD weekly outlook for the week. Let's get into the full frame. So NZDCAD, we're looking monthly. On the monthly, we're looking bearish turning bullish, weekly bullish, daily bullish, and H4 H1 is bullish turning bearish. Oh, I just remembered why, because of 0.811. As you can see, we're gonna go right here on the smaller time frame, but even this is on the daily. On the daily, you can still see some previous area of supply being tested and got respected. I was actually gonna do this video earlier, but I wanted to go for my run. I already ran 6 miles and took my dog out for a walk today. And I also wanted to wait for the market to close, but I was like, I know I'm supposed to be doing this. Why am I gonna not do this when I know I'm supposed to be doing it, right? So let's get into it. Maybe I'll do a chart breakdown or the first trade of the week whenever the market opens. So let's get into the monthly. In the monthly, you can see we were overall bearish. Price this is where it had tried to flip bullish, as you can see, but we tested 0.86, which has previously been a previous strong area of supply, strong area of demand, strong area of demand, previous area of supply, strong area of demand, strong area of demand, strong area of demand, supply below, demand above, demand above, demand above, demand above. You can see the more you test the zone, the weaker it gets. And then we broke through it, bearish engulfed, tested it on as a lower high. We even broke above, but we still broke back below and continued melting. That's why all of these levels are very important. You can see previous area of supply, previous area of demand, previous area of demand. We tested it over here, 0.78, 0.78, 500, and now we're actually above a previous strong area, which is 0.80. You can see, and we're looking like we're already on our way to the next target. Would be 0.82, 500. As you can see, with the previous area of strong supply. And these are just key levels. The main thing from key levels is just higher time frame on the monthly and on the weekly, higher time frame areas of strong supply and strong demand. That's how strong key levels are. Because when price on the smaller time frames, on the 1 hour, on the 30 minute, on the 15 minute, when we get to one of these key levels, that's when you know that we're about to have a huge move. That's why you mark them up. Then on the weekly, you could already see we turned bullish. Price failed to keep. We were bearish here, and then we were bearish here, right? This had already happened. This was bullish. Price had already flipped bearish again. Bearish engulfing candle, lower high. Bearish engulfing candle again, but price failed to keep on breaking lows below 0.79, 300. And right now on the weekly, this is a huge bullish engulfing candle. Obviously, the market still has not opened, but I still believe that the weekly is gonna close with a bullish engulfing candle above 0.80. Meaning that price more than likely still gonna continue bullish, right? And obviously the next target would be 0.82, 500. The thing is now on the daily, as you can see, let me close this. Freaking ads, bro, they're so annoying. On the daily, you can see we have this daily lower high, which also became a strong area of supply. All the strong area of supply is if it gave us a huge drop off of it, right? That's how at least I know supply, right? That's how rest in peace Jordan FX. If you know Alex G, you know Jordan FX, right? He taught me, or taught us, a lot of people. Go check out his YouTube videos, by the way. They're still up. He's still alive right now, giving away free content, right? Even though he passed, because remember, technically me too, right? Because this content it's forever. It lives on. Right? This is, in a way, this is how you live forever. But that's a whole different topic, right? So we have a shout out Jordan, rest in peace, dog. No, we have a bearish engulfing candle first, and then price comes back, creates a lower high, and then gives us a full meltdown. And then this was strong because price had not been tested it, and then we just tested it at 0.11. As you can see, price gave us a drop of 100 pips, right? Price comes back, retest that zone perfectly for the first time, so therefore now it's no longer strong, now it's weak. Now this is strong, now this is strong. So now price is looking like it's gonna continue melting, right? But it's still overall bullish. It's not bearish until we break below 0.89, no, 0.80, right? So right now we could create a lower high right here, and this will still look bullish. So that's on the daily. The daily is bullish, and then on the 4-hour we are bullish, but we are turning bearish. Why are we turning bearish? Because obviously the zone previous, the lower high, previous area of strong supply, it got tested twice actually, and it got respected. You can see we had already the first push, price came back, stopped out all of those people that went in first, and then started doing the second pullback. And right now it's looking like it's gonna do another stop out, which is insane. So it might do something like this again, and it actually might create a left shoulder head, and this could be the right shoulder for us to continue back down here to 0.80. And if this doesn't happen, if these sales don't happen, I would want to see something like this: a bullish engulfing candle, a higher low, and then we have targets to run up all the way up to here. As you can see, all of these sellers still have not been taken out. So we would have, this is actually a good setup. We have buys potentially to 100 pips all the way to 0.82, 100, and then we have potential sales for maybe 90 pips, 100 pips as well. So NZDCAD is actually looking really good for the week. We just have to wait for the setup to play out. Either we're gonna have a bullish engulfing candle and a higher low above here, or actually we hop into the 1-hour. You can see on the 1-hour we're already melting. On the 1-hour, this is looking like a double top, as you can see. And this, shout out Holt. I'm literally shouting out a lot of people that taught me, right? Shout out to Holt Vision, because he's the one that told me also that liquidity, all liquidity is just wicks in the market. And the bigger the wick, remember this, the bigger the wick, the bigger the liquidity. We have pretty big wicks here, right? And also we already have a rejection of our higher time from key levels, right? So now that's 2 confluences. And also we have a bearish engulfing candle, so that's 3 confluences. And also we have lower highs, so that's already what, 4 confluences. That price is more than likely going to sell now. That's why it's on the lower time frames, on the H4, H1, it's bullish turning bearish, because it's bullish turning bearish until we can break back above here, create a lower high above 0.8011, then we would be back bullish. Or maybe unless we could get multiple tests, and let's say we test it again, that creates a higher low. We test it again, that creates another higher low. Then after that third test, we already know that we're gonna run through that. That's already like a fake resistance already. But so far right now is looking bearish. And actually on the 15 minute we did have a, as you can see, this is again on the NZDCAD, on the 15 minute we do have a impulse within the range, which is just a smaller time frame area of strong demand. So what's gonna happen when this zone gets tested? One of those 2 things: we're either gonna test it and continue bullish, or flip back bullish, or we're gonna break below, create a bearish engulfing candle, lower high, and continue melting. That's all that could happen. So that's more like a little, but that's more like an entry type of trade. We still need the high time frame confirmations, right? So now let's get into NZDCAD. You can pause it and read it. Monthly bullish turning bearish, weekly bullish turning bearish, daily bearish, H4, H1 bearish. So NZDCAD. Let's start off from the monthly. You could already see from the monthly, previous area of supply got respected. Bearish engulfing candle below 0.139. As you can see, previous area of strong supply, previous area of strong supply, previous area of strong supply, turned into new demand right here, and price flew. Turned into supply again below, bearish engulfing candle on a lower high, and right now we're actually rejecting below. We were flipping bullish, as you can see right here, monthly bullish turning bearish. We were bullish because price had also failed to keep on breaking lows below 135,500, and we also had just bearish engulfed on the, no, not bearish engulfed, bullish engulfed on the monthly. So now we hop into the weekly. You can see on the weekly we're also bullish turning bearish. because we still have not had a bearish engulfing candle. Actually, this close for this on Sunday, on the Sunday close, we might get a bearish engulfing candle here, so that might give us extra confluence. But we also have to watch out because price can also fly and give us a rejection. So that's kind of, I kind of want to put, I did want to wait for the candle to close, but let's just post it before the market is open and see what happens. But I do see price with the bearish engulfing candle below 139, right? But I could be wrong and price could literally reject. And that sounded like the Canelo song, right? The one that que dice soy de GDL. I literally thought it was, but it's literally just some jazz music. All right, so now let's get into the daily. The daily, now you could already see we're already bearish because we tested a previous daily area of strong supply similar to NZDCAD. We had an instant rejection, bearish engulfing candle below 139, and then we had a fake out for buys, but that would really just came back to stop all the initial sellers. That's annoying how price does that, man. It always does that. You can see sometimes you might be in profit, like let's say you enter the trade here, right? 40 pips, right? Your target obviously would have been somewhere over here, and now price gave you, what is that, 50 pips, right? So what do? You take half of your position and you let the rest run at risk free, solid. So you already secured 50 pips. Let's say on a one lot you secured $250 and you have $250 running to potentially catch 250 pips, right? And what does price do? Boom, go straight into your freaking entry, take you out at entry, and then boom, hit the meltdown. That is so annoying, right? That's also why Alex G, shout out to Alex G again, he says set and forget, right? You don't, if it has not hit your target, why are you going to be securing? Which that's also very, very, very important. My thing would have been, you secure at 50 pips because every trade that you win, why are you going to let it be a loss? But also, if it does take you out at entry, you enter again. If the setup is still valid, enter again, and that would have been double the profit, right? But that's just me. That's what I would have done in this kind of little mini back test, even though it was not a real live back testing, which I have not back tested yet today. I have to back test. You know what? I'm gonna back test live after I finish. You know what? Let me back test right now. Let me just finish with USDCAD. So USDCAD on daily, we're bearish, and as you can see, we have a lower high and a bearish engulfing candle below 139, which on the higher time frames, remember, is a previous strong area of supply, previous strong area of supply, previous strong area of demand, previous strong area of demand, previous strong area of supply, previous strong area of supply, again turning into supply below. But if we do get that fake out and we do break back above here and we get a higher low, now we already know that we have some targets to run up for the buys, right? But if it does, we might even just do another lower high, maybe even a retest all the way into 139 to continue bearish. Or we could do something like this, the rejection of the weekly, if it doesn't close bearish, right? But I still see it closing bearish, so we might get the lower higher here. Then on the 4 hour, you can already see we're fully bearish. Broke structure, created a lower high below structure, and already even broke this structure, minor structure over here with the bearish engulfing candle. We might even just come test over here, to be honest. We might even just test here and then continue melting. But we could also do this. That's why we have to watch out for price. And then on the 1 hour, still fully bearish. I would not consider the H4 and the H1 bullish until we break above here, because we could literally create that higher time from lower high. This is why it's very important to even though if you're not trading, let's say you're not a swing trader, it's very important that you even go from the top-down analysis. That I learned that from Lambo Raul and Q Banks and Sean Lee. Shout out Sean. I'm literally shouting out all of the people that I learned from today, right? But I mean, knowledge is great. The more people you learn, you realize like, holy shit, this works, this doesn't work. I could apply this to my strategy. I could take this from him. I could take from. It's kind of like how Floyd Mayweather used to say that he learned from Mike Tyson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, Muhammad Ali, Evander Holyfield, like all those people, right? In boxing, I like to watch Canelo. I like to watch Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. I like to watch Salvador Sanchez, Roberto Duran, Ricardo Finito Lopez. Man, there's so many. Recently, David Benavides, obviously Canelo. I think I mentioned it already. Marco Antonio Barrera, Juan Manuel Marquez, his brother Rafa Marquez, Eric Morales, all of the greats, man. Shout out all of the Mexican fighters. I'm really getting off topic, but you could apply learning, because I mean learning is a skill. Even learning is a skill, right? So you can learn from everybody and then apply it to your own endeavor, right? Kobe Bryant used to say that he would learn from everybody, other people in other sports, and apply that to his endeavor, right? So on the USDCAD, we're bearish. Now let me show you how to backtest. So how I like to backtest, especially because to backtest on the anything lower than the daily, you have to fucking pay fucking $12 for this shit. And I mean, you don't have to pay for this shit. Nobody pays for this shit. You go backtest on the daily, and I'm gonna show you right here. The thing is that you have to not look at the market while you're resetting the replay, right? So right now, you're just gonna have to go for my word. Or actually, you don't have to go for my word. You could look at me right now. So let me just show you, right? So you're gonna hit replay, and then you're gonna scroll back, but you cannot look back. You cannot look at the screen while I'm scrolling back. So right now I'm scrolling back, and all right. Oh shit. So I have to freaking see the screen, right? Because I can't freaking. Wait, hold up. Something went wrong. Hold up. So on the daily, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it, because no. Wait. So replay, you have to scroll. All right. So right now I'm watching the screen, but right now I don't have to. I cannot watch it. You can see. So then I'm not watching it, and then you click stop, and then it takes you to a place back in time. So now I'm on the daily. So where are we? Fuck, we're still in 2025. It's gonna be a pretty short trade. Kind of wanted to go back in time more. So you know what? Let me go back in time more, but I cannot watch the screen. So right now I'm not watching the screen on everything on my soul. I'm not watching the screen. All right, there. So you have to look away when you're scrolling back in time, and then once you click back in time, it takes you to that place. So right now it took me to 2023. All right. So right off the bat, I like to go into the weekly. We were bullish, we're turning bearish, creating liquidity below here. We also have liquidity here. Let's hop into the daily, and this I literally have to take the trade off the daily. So there's no more. I mean, we do have a trend here, right? Somewhat bullish trend. Price tried continuing buys here, but respect to the previous area of supply. Lower high, bearish engulfing candle, lower high, and continued melting. And we even we had a daily demand here, flew, tested, and right now this is not actually showing no strength. So what I would like to see, so we have a double bottom here. If price tests this double bottom again, I see it breaking. I see this happening right here, right? But then also price could really shoot from here all the way up. So I'm not gonna take a trade just yet. I am gonna go right here onto the, let's go into the 3x, and I'm gonna play. Let's see what happens. See if you would have taken those freaking sales. Okay, so now the first of all, the bias would have been valid, but now we're actually coming to that zone, what I just said. So now I'm gonna stop. Now I'm gonna put it at 1x, and we're gonna click play, see what happens. All right, I think I'm gonna take the sales now. All right, so I pause it, and I'm gonna take the sales. This is a daily time frame trade. Higher time frame wise, had we been securing here, but obviously TP1 would be somewhere above here. So actually, it's a 1-to-1 for TP1, but higher time frame would be 120. So this is how you backtest. Let's see if I'm right or wrong for the first trade. Ooh, papaya de Celaya. I'm in there. I'm in there. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take that profit. 100 pips. There we go. Instantly, like that. Let's see what happens. Are we gonna get stopped out at break even? Or is the trade gonna run? It's running, it's running. Let me secure a little bit more. 150. Ah, shit. Ah, I knew it. Motherfucker. Let's see what it would have happened to it. because our stop loss was above here. Our original stop loss was above here. No, actually it's heading all the way to stop loss. Never mind. So the trade bias, higher time frames, was wrong, but the trade was profitable. So that's gonna happen. Even though the full target didn't get hit, this is why you secure. I mean, who's not gonna secure at 150 pips? And we could have still gotten in buys back above here, because obviously previous strong area of demand turned into supply. What did it do over here? Turned into demand again after the bullish engulfing candle and after the higher low. And it flew to 139 right here. Damn, this would have been a great trade after price took you out on the south, right? So that's literally how you backtest real quick. And damn good. If I would have lost this trade, I would have had to make back what I lost on this trade and be in profit on the next backtesting trade. That's how I backtest. But since I made profit on the first backtesting trade, we'll be back tomorrow. There's literally times when I've gone backtesting and I literally ran out of chart because I took too many losses and I tried to make it back, and I had to hop on a whole different market just to make back the backtesting loss, right? But you always have to end up back profitable. It's kind of like a game. Backtesting is kind of like a game. All right. So now let's get into UJ. Weekly, monthly bullish, weekly bullish, daily bullish, H4, H1 bullish. You see how UJ and UCAD don't correlate, even though they have the USD as the same pair? It's crazy. So on the monthly, you can already see fully bullish, bullish engulfing candle, higher lows above 125, support respected above 14500, bullish engulfing candle and a higher low above 151 and 152. This is on the monthly, by the way. And then look at this huge supply candle, bearish engulfing candle. I mean, it started at 161,800, technically 162. So I still do see price hitting, going all the way to 162, right? And then we'll hop into the weekly. On the weekly, the support got respected. We failed to have a bullish engulfing candle, and then we were kind of looking like we were gonna sell here, and then boom, we finally got the bullish engulfing candle and price flew. This is why I'm telling you, bullish engulfing candles are one of your best entry confirmations. Okay, so price flew into 158,500 and respected and rejected below 158,500. Look at that bearish engulfing candle below, lower high, and continue melting. But why? Because this is 158,500 is a previous strong area of supply, a strong area of supply, and then it was previously somewhat strong demand, but it was not as strong as it was supply, obviously. And obviously every test, I mean, these two tests were exactly the same, but this test, it was weaker, showing more buyer strength. Therefore price continued flying. We have a bullish engulfing candle, and now we're holding the support above 158,500, but we are also rejecting below 160. So we're now kind of ranging in between these two levels. So I would like to see if price breaks above 160, which most likely will. We're gonna head all the way to 162, and then maybe at 162 we could either have the pullback back down, or we can have a continuation back up, right? Just based off what price does. And also, I mean, very unlikely that it does happen, but we could also bearish engulf below 158,500 and continue melting. First target would be 152. On the daily, we actually are still bullish, H4, H1 bullish. The only reason being is because we were already turning bearish here, but price broke back above the zone. And this was kind of like a bearish fake out, and we are holding the support right here. But I do want to see that break above 160. And on the 4 hour, you can already see 4 hour H4 bullish engulfing candle and the higher low above 158,500. And we do have a H4 strong area of supply that did break structure. So we're gonna see how price reacts to this right here. So this move might actually just give us another push back down to the zone, and we might just start going something like up and down. But this might actually be a good entry for sales, so we gotta watch out for it. We need to see somewhere a rejection here. Obviously the first TP would be 158,500, or we could either get the bullish engulfing candle and the higher low, something I would actually rather see, something like that. So now let's get into, we still gotta get GJ and GU. So GJ, well, it's actually correlating with UJ. Monthly bullish, weekly bullish, daily bullish, H4 is long bullish. Alright, let's get it. this is already on the 4 hour. Let's get into the monthly. You can already see GG on the monthly, fully bullish engulfing candle, higher lows above 195, which has been a previous strong area of supply, strong area of demand, really strong area of demand right there, and obviously strong area of supply right there. Demand above, and then we also have a previous area of strong supply at 208, which also got respected as demand. And now look at this, we are rejecting, well, we were rejecting below 215, which was a previous strong area of supply. As you can see, it gave us this huge drop. Also, that drop is freaking 9,000 pips. Look at that. And price tested it for the first time since 2008. Holy shit, we're at 2008 highs. Holy shit, we're at 2008 highs. Some crazy shit could be going on, actually, which is something that the homie Max was talking about over here in this dude's video. Go check it out, by the way. It's a really good video. He was mentioning something similar to this, that we're like in the same levels that we were back in 2008. And look at those now. That literally just gave me goosebumps. What the fuck? That synchronicity, because look at this. We're literally now on the chart. I can see it. We are literally at levels that we were in 2008. What the fuck? Look at that. Can you see the goosebumps? You can see them kind of right there. That's insane, yo. So we have to watch how the markets reach. Look at this. Can you really see the goosebumps? I know you can fucking see them. There you go. Look at that. Fuck. That's like my spidey sense. So we did have a bearish engulfing candle below 215, but now we're looking like we're gonna test and maybe even break 215. So, but I don't see why GJ would have melted in 2008. That had nothing to do with the dollar, right? But I melted. So obviously the pound was way weaker than the yen, and obviously it melted. Something affected the pound in the 2008 crash. Hopefully, I mean, as traders we could buy or sell, right? But obviously we're looking out for the entire freaking world over here and shit, and the markets tell us, right? Obviously crazy shit went down in 2008, 2009, the whole freaking Lehman Brothers and all that shit. And so we're back at those same levels. But we could also remember a previous area of strong supply. It could also be turned into a previous strong area of demand, and we also still do have highs to clear. 240, that's an extra what? If it flips bullish, which it is bullish, that's 2,000 pips to the upside. Once we have that bullish engulfing candle and the higher low above 215, obviously on the monthly, so it's going to take months. On the weekly, we're still fully bullish. Previous area of support respected. Bullish engulfing candle and the higher low above 195. Bullish engulfing candle and a higher low above 208. And we're also barely testing 215 again. As you can see, once we test 215, instantly we had the drop and we had the bearish engulfing candle. So let's see what price does when we test it again. We might actually just be stopping out those initial sellers, and we might continue back down. Who knows? So now on the daily, we're bullish, clearly. Higher low and bullish engulfing candle above 208. We have a double bottom here. A double bottom above, what is this? 209,800. And then we have this previous area of daily supply. It just got broken. It just got ran through. Bullish engulfed. And price is really on its way to 215. Then on the 4 hour, you can already see we're fully bullish. We were kind of ranging up right above 208, which would have been nice key sells to buy, especially after all of this huge push. This is actually a push. This is actually something I learned from Holt, by the way. Holt, I think his YouTube channel is Visionary Profits, right? So he mentions that there's always gonna be these moves right here, and they usually happen with red folder candle news. Heavy momentum zone. Price then respects this period of demand, which is 208. It failed to creep on breaking lows below it. It even went closer with a huge rejection, and then it's kind of creating liquidity, and then boom, we stop all those sellers. And now people think that this price is going to continue selling, and now they start putting their stop losses here, right? The same people that were getting in these buys here, they got stopped out, and now they got into sales. Boom, stop loss. Stop loss hit. Bullish engulfing candle and a higher low. I mean, if you would have gotten the buys here, the annoying thing is you would have gotten into profit. Hopefully you didn't say your stop was at break even too soon, because boom, look at that, the full fucking push that you were looking at over here, it happened, but the manipulation had to freaking happen first. That's so weird, but look, that's why it's very important that you watch out for these key levels, because these key levels will tell you if we are above the key level, buy. If we are below the key level, sell. And obviously we were above the key level. You could have, obviously most than likely I would have gotten stopped out too here, because I would have had my stop loss here. But you always have the re-entry. You always give your trader a second shot, because bullish engulfing candle on the higher low, and then boom, you would have made it right back. And actually look at that shoot, you would have still been in fucking profit. So we have a bullish engulfing candle above previous strong area of demand, above previous strong area of supply, my mistake, which now you can call this a resistance zone. I like to call it a supply zone when it's just like kind of like one strong test, but this is not really that strong, so this, you could just call this a supply zone or a resistance zone, and the price just flew through that, right? So if you're looking for sales here, boom, you got stopped out, because this is already, remember what I said earlier, wicks equal liquidity. Look at all of these wicks ungrabbed. So you could literally a little kid could have seen that retail traders were looking as a retail resistance. That's kind of the difference also between supply and a supply and demand zone and a resistance zone. Once you start seeing all of these wicks, and once it starts looking too good to be true, it's probably going to be too good to be true, like happened over here, right? But this is why it's very important that you pair your price action with key levels and obviously whatever methodology that you use to trade. So right now price is bullish and we're on the way to 215. We just gotta wait to see what price does at 215. Only two, and actually we might even have a pullback. You can see how we're kind of at this wick right now. This is the first time we're testing this wick, so we might actually have a pullback maybe into the zone to continue to 215, or we might just fly to 215 right now to come back down to this zone, and then at this zone we could possibly have another buy or a sell, right? So we can have a trade at 215, and then we can have another trade here, depending on which one gets tested first, right? So now, last but not least, shout out the homie Max, by the way. Let's get into GBPUSD. You can pause it and read it. Monthly bullish turning monthly bearish turning bullish, weekly bullish, daily bullish, each for each one bullish. So it's actually correlating with UJ and GJ on the smaller time frames, but on the monthly bearish turning bullish. Oh, actually yes, we were turning bearish. We were bullish, right? But we were bearish already because price was failing to keep on breaking highs above the 137,800, and we also had just bearish engulfed, right? The only thing was price failed to keep on breaking lows below 132. We expected it as a previous strong area of demand, and you can see on the weekly, you can see the retest perfectly. The price would have broken below here, the bearish momentum would have continued, but obviously it got respected, and now we flew into the next zone, which is 134,800. You can see price has been struggling to break above that zone, but if we do break above this zone, I do see price hitting 137,800. So now on the daily, you can already see on the daily a little bit better. Price tested, obviously sells below the key levels, buys above the key levels. Remember, sells, buys above, 132, buys above, below 132, sells. We tested 132, we failed to keep on breaking below. We had a bullish engulfing candle, and obviously if you would have gotten in here, price always has to come and stop you out, which is fucking annoying. But you would have gave your trade another entry, and then boom, would have been in profit on these buys. I missed this entry. When did these buys happen? Hold on, let me get on the 4 hour. This should happen on Sunday, brother. On Sunday. Wait, this should happen last Sunday. Exactly 7 days ago. At 6, right around Asian session. So today, maybe we gotta look at GBPUSD during Asian session, because look at the crazy shit that was happening, and we are below a key level. Remember what I said, sells below the key level, buys above the key level. We gotta watch out for the key levels. So we have a bullish engulfing candle, and we have a higher low above 132, and price flew to the next key level. So, bro, I'm telling you, this shit is shout out Lambo Raul, dude, because I think that dude's the main dude that taught me about key levels. So if we could have a bearish engulfing candle and a higher low above 134,800, price flies. Now, if price continues rejecting below here, and actually that's why I kind of have this marked up here, this low, because if we do break below this minor low here, if we get a bearish engulfing candle and a lower high, price is going to continue mounting to 132. That's all that can happen. That's why I love trading. You can either only buy or sell. You just have to wait for the confirmations to see where we're really going. Even though we are bullish, right, we could flip bearish, but we still gotta wait for it. And then we also have wicks over here, so we do have liquidity here still, right? So the buys might actually do play out, or we might have one of those fake out buys. That price boom hits the fake out and then comes back down. That could also happen. So now we just have to wait for the market. So on the daily, this previous area of daily supply is being respected, 134,800. So if we could get a bullish engulfing candle and a higher low, I definitely do see price hitting all the way to 137,800. But if we continue to reject this freaking zone, I mean, if we already rejected it once, twice, 3 times, this is gonna be the 4th time. I'm already looking a little suspicious, right? So maybe we might do a lower high rejection to continue back up, right? But maybe if it does reject here without breaking above, I don't see it coming back down to 132. I see it just creating that higher low to make it look more like a resistance and just take out all of those stop losses above. Bro, it's bullish right now, so we should only be really looking for buys until we get that break below here and that lower high. So if not, we're only looking for buys. So now back to work. Peace and love to anybody watching this. I command you health, wealth, knowledge for you and your entire family. Peace and love.